And welcome to another episode. Damn it. And welcome to another episode of He Said, She Said, where he offers his perspective and she offers hers, but she's always right.
That's right. You already figured it out.
All right. Today's episode is based on Black businesses. Do we offer them our patronage? And if so, at what cost? This idea was brought to us by Mercedes Wright, who had an experience recently with a Black-owned business. So we'll let her start off the honors.
Okay, so myself, I own a business, actually two. And when it comes down to customer service and quality, I worked in customer service all my life. I feel like no matter what the race of the owner is, you're supposed to provide the best in customer service because, people will tell other people if they're dissatisfied with the service that you provided. This weekend, I had a terrible experience with the moving company. And I'm going to tell you what I did. When I was getting quotes for movers, I actually waited until I heard a Black voice call me back for quotes. It might sound crazy to some people, but I did it because I wanted to support my own people. It turned out to be a freaking nightmare. And when I say nightmare, you have no idea. Everything down to when I went and got the last little bit of stuff out of my house, I found empty beer cans in my son's room. They had closed my son's room door after they moved the bed out, so I never went back in that room. And when I was gone, as they were moving the rest of the stuff out, I guess they closed the doors to the rooms that they were finished with. There were empty beer cans in my son's room. I do not drink beer at all. There's no reason for beer cans to be in my house. So that's another story for another day. But they broke my washing machine. They broke the light fixture in my new house. They left some of my stuff at my old house without telling me. They left a TV stand saying that they thought they might break it, but didn't even warn me that they were going to leave it, which is almost an hour away from from my new house. And that put me in a situation where I didn't know if I was going to have the means to move my stuff. It was terrible. And then they charged me $600. I could have easily called two men in a truck and got all my stuff moved for probably $300 and quality and customer service, and they would have set everything back up the way it was supposed to be. Now, with that being stated, as a Black person, purposely trying to reach out and find other Black companies to support, do we substitute quality for the fact that the owner is just simply Black? Or what do you guys think? Because I felt like I didn't even research it enough. I gave him the benefit of the doubt that he was going to be the expert mover that I expected him to be, since he had a business in his name. He should be professional enough at this point to be able to provide me with the service without breaking all my shit. Now, I disputed it with my bank. I got my money back. Now, I don't know if he's going to counter dispute or whatever, but he might not want to do that because he promised me that he would call me back 3 days ago after 5 o'clock. Never did, and I called my bank. So he didn't even try to rectify it with me. So what is your opinion on choosing a Black business? Choose a Black business because it's worth it. Do your research first. Don't just do it because it's Black. What's your opinion? I try to support everybody. What do y'all think?
All right. So I've always said, and this is taking the actual color out of it. I'm just going to talk about my experience with my cousin. My cousin has had her own business for quite some time. She actually, shout out to Datra Martindale. She's actually been on our show before, like not on He Said, She Said, but part of the 360 family. And we had her as a guest. Basically, she makes her own products for facial things. And I'm not like a makeup girl or anything like that by any means. But I've told her, hey, I gave you a shot because you're my family, but I've stayed a customer because I value your products and your services. I never, try to like ask for a discount, and I'm her family. I don't ask for a discount. I pay her what she sets the price at, and we do business that way. At the end of the day, I apply those same principles to Black businesses. So Black businesses and Black business owners are going to get my business by default initially, but to keep my business, they will have to be great. So yeah, and that really should be the case for anybody despite race. But we all know that it's much easier to share your negative experience versus the good ones. I mean, like, if you're really honest with yourself, how many times has a customer or a customer service person or a business owner gone above and beyond, and you made sure that 10 people heard how great they were? I don't think people in general, and again, this is like, I could honestly say that this is not something exclusive to Black people, but considering that Black owned businesses only account for like maybe 10% of the population in the States, I feel like, yes, we should be held to a higher standard. But at the end of the day, it's human nature to like want to complain and make sure everybody knows about how terrible our experience is, versus how great it was.
Now, I agree with you on that. I will say I'm a little bit different. I share all experiences. Like when the whole Dove soap thing happened, I made sure the woman that I found to make my soaps, everybody knew about. Because as much as I love Dove soap, and somebody gave me as a housewarming gift a whole kit of Dove soap. Now, granted, I love Dove before the whole ordeal, and I got it because it actually worked for me and my kids' skin. But I did start getting my soap special made, so my skin is used to it now. But I took the soap, I didn't pay for it, and it's in my house, and I will probably use it amongst me and the kids. I'm pretty sure the kids will use it all up. And I hate to say it, with eczema, Dove is the best thing for their skin. Dove just is for everybody's skin, no matter what kind of skin you have. But anyway, I made sure that I promoted the Black business owner that I found that made my soaps. She normally is at the flea market, and honey, every week she get all my money. Not all of it, but she actually does so good, I'm willing to go back to her each and every time. When it comes down to beauty supply stores, I haven't found many Black beauty supply stores, but I did let a couple of the girls know that didn't know, which was odd, that lived in Charleston, one that I found the other day. And they was like, oh, we didn't know Black people own that one. We never go over there. Well, hey, that's another reason for you to drive that extra couple miles to support that Black-owned business, because they were great for me. The store was great. They had everything that I needed and everything else. And Black restaurants, if they're good, I'll let them know. Now, I will say I've had a bad experience with a Black restaurant before where the food wasn't that great. And when I tried to voice my opinion, she got an attitude. Well, honey, if your food ain't that great, your food just ain't that great. So I would either like my money back, because the food tasted like, you know how when you put something in the refrigerator and you don't cover it up good enough and go back like a day or so later? It tastes like refrigeration, especially if you don't put the baking soda in the refrigerator. It tastes like everything else in the refrigerator. I don't know how else to describe it. And it just didn't taste good. And it wasn't just one dish, it was all of them. So, and then on top of that, she had her sweet tea tasted sour. And I was like, when did you make this tea? And I was like, and I feel like she was dishing out just bad food all around. I was like, your sweet tea shouldn't be sour. And in restaurant business, you're supposed to make it today, use it tomorrow, and if it doesn't sell by the end of that day, you pour that crap out. I feel like she tried to hold on to it for an extra day or two, So when I voiced my opinion to her, she got an attitude. Well, my stuff is fresh. My stuff is this. I said, ma'am, you're saying that, but it tastes sour. So, but before I went to her, I'm smart enough, I got this guy that I was with, one of our friends, who was like a group of us. I said, taste this, and to be completely honest with your opinion. He said that tea don't taste right. He said it tastes kind of like, almost like dishwater or something. So I wasn't the only one. It didn't taste good. It didn't taste right. And I told him to taste the macaroni and everything else. It didn't taste right. But when I went to her as a consumer, I got an attitude. That's one thing I don't like. I don't care what color you are in your business. You're not even taking into consideration that maybe something is wrong with your refrigerator. Maybe you need to wrap your food better. Maybe something else needs to be taken in. You just want to automatically say, I'm doing everything right. You don't like the way it tastes. That's you. It's basically what she said. I can't deal with stuff like that. So, of course, I did put that out there too. But you have to give good and bad business, no matter what, the same fair chance to be put out there. And a lot of people don't do that. Somebody made a post the other day on my Facebook page and said, why is it that with white-owned companies, y'all always, when you have a bad experience, y'all ask for the manager, but with Black-owned businesses, y'all go straight to Facebook and bash them on social media, which is true. But what I did before I ever put it on social media, before I ever did anything, I went through that for almost 48 hours with them, trying to get him to fix it. I still have the voicemail that he left me 3 days ago saying, hey, I'm going to call you at after 5 o'clock. Okay. He never responded. That's bad business. I wish he would try to back charge that money. No, we'll go to court. I don't have time for that. So I went straight to him first, then I went to social media, because guess what? The website that you put in for quotes pulls up your local businesses, and he's based out of Columbia. Who's to say somebody else won't try, to use him or something like that? So it's a universal website, but it's like just for, like, when you put in your zip code, it pulls up everything within like 100-mile radius. So unfortunately.
So I am a part of a group on Facebook that highlights and focuses on supporting Black-owned businesses. It's actually called Triangle Black-owned Businesses. So if you are in the Raleigh-Durham, Chapel Hill area, the Triangle, obviously, then you need to join that group. And if your interest is in promoting your own business, which I do in the group, if your interest is finding other vendors to support an event you're having or just support personal goals, I mean, there's a carpet cleaner in there. I found him. Great guy. Shout out to Tad. Tad Edwards, I think is his name. Shout out to him. He shampooed my carpet a couple weeks back. Best experience I've had. I've had my carpet professionally cleaned a couple of times. He now sells his own spot cleaner. I will be purchasing that. Of course, my service is grammatically correct, so I do editing, professional services, and I've cake makers, website designers, damn near any profession that you could think of. You can go in and search your group and find people who have been tagged for these skill sets. And eventually, I think it's about just trying to change the narrative. So instead of focusing on who's terrible, it really doesn't matter who's terrible, because guess what? If you look through 3 different posts and you see that Chuck Morgan, who is a videographer in this area, if you see him posted up, on every thread, every time you ask for a videographer, his services are being referred. And you look through and you see photographers like Fahrenheit Photography or Dark Red Photography out of Fayetteville. You see these people consistently being tagged, then their record is going to speak for itself, because they wouldn't be getting referrals if they were terrible. So shout out to these people that are getting business based on great behavior instead of even giving energy to the ones that are terrible professionals at the end of the day. So it's like I almost don't have to bash you, because you're going to sustain if you are doing what you're supposed to do. And I think that's what's really important to focus on. I mean, you'll go out of business otherwise.
I totally agree. But you have to take pride in your business. And one example I gave was a few months back around the holidays. I had a friend of mine want to buy her husband a phone for the holidays. And when I changed suppliers, I like to get the phones in my hand and touch them first and make sure they're good. And when I changed suppliers, I said, you know what? I'm taking a risk, but I'm glad I did, because I learned my lesson. I said, I'm going to go ahead and ship it to her because she wants it. But I don't like the idea of having to ship it to her first without me touching it, because if there was a problem, as a, seller, I could go ahead and, talk to the supplier about the issue. They sent her a phone that was so crappy. It had a crack in the screen. It had dents on. I was like, what is this? I said, the phones I get from y'all are nothing like this. But for whatever reason, they didn't take the same pride in the phone they sent the seller as they did the individual. So I ended up switching suppliers again. And I said, you know what? I got to make this right, because at the time all she wanted was an iPhone 6 Plus. And I had a bunch of other ones, more expensive, 7 Plus and stuff like that. I just gave her one of them. I said, look, my bad about what happened, and I fixed the issue. I probably lost a little bit, or maybe I probably didn't make that much of a profit, but I didn't care at that point. I really didn't, because I tried to make it right. And then I had some other friends order phones after that and stuff like that. It's all about customer service. It's all about being able to provide what people need and bringing people back. After I did that with her 2 of her coworkers bought phones. Her husband bought a phone. Another one of my friends bought a phone. Her homeboy bought a phone. So I'm sitting here, I'm making business. And that satisfactory situation alone brought me like 6 more people.
Exactly.
And that's not even including the people I sell to on eBay. They don't know me personally, but I've had situations with them. Like maybe they didn't get the accessory that I promised, and I'll make sure I take care of them. You got to take care of your customers. And that's one thing that I've noticed with the companies that I've dealt with that are some of the Black-owned companies.
Customer service, I think it's a logistics thing. There was basically, I think the data I read suggested that out of the, 2 million plus Black-owned businesses, like 80%, I feel like I read even a higher number, but at least like 80% of them are sole proprietorships. So that means you have a one-man show running, a business, and it's like little to no employees. And so it's very hard. Like, you get into it and you think, oh, okay, well, I can, like you said, I can move stuff, but I can move it by myself, or I can clean this carpet, but I don't have any other employees who are able to help with this. So you can't really scale out. And I think people are not necessarily thinking ahead about that, about how to scale their business, and that's where it kind of fails. And
I can see that, but what I did before I started my business, I took the necessary steps to sit down and read books and stuff on how to start a business and everything else, and the things that you need to do. And even though I'm still, by myself, sole proprietor, I still, if I take that back, my dad kind of partnered in with me recently, but and he invested into my business, so it's making it a little bit easier for me. But my thing is, we have to gain the knowledge that isn't given to us. Let's be completely honest. Like, growing up, it depends on how you grew up in a Black household. My mama wasn't a business owner. My daddy didn't even have the money that he has today. He had to learn, gain his own knowledge. And a lot of the knowledge that I have, I got from him and the books and everything else. But we didn't grow up with like the knowledge of credit and banking and all this other stuff just laid in our laps as Black people. We just didn't. And for me, growing up in a single parent household, it was more so do what's necessary to make ends meet while still keeping your dignity. And that's exactly what my thing is. Like, I'll do whatever I have to do to make ends meet, even if it means work 300 hours a week to make ends meet so that I can pay bills. But it wasn't like, also in the meantime, keep your credit good. Sometimes in that struggle, you might have to, mess up your credit and things like that. So as much as we're, as far as talking about Black businesses, we weren't born with the resources.
So there was one thing I want to talk about. I want to make sure we talk about this, because I feel like I could talk forever about what Lou tagged me in earlier. And this is basically a post from the Shade Room.
Love them.
And yeah, I do too. And basically it said, can we start having business warming parties? Like, when a friend is starting a business, everyone comes together and buys things that will help. Hell fucking no. And I'm going to tell you why.
I think it'd be more like an investment party, kind of, right?
Nope. I don't want to have no types of parties. I don't want to. The first thing I thought about was like, oh, that's sweet. And then like the common sense kicked in, and I was just like, no way. And this is why. First of all, let me say that I am constantly barraged by requests for my time. My time is valuable. Your time is valuable. Everyone's time is valuable. But if I were to attend some sort of business warming party, I would in an effort to support and like grow the community, I would legitimately have no personal or social life. And it's just like, I think it's great for people to have an entrepreneurial spirit. I don't mean to shit on those ideas. I think that it's valuable. I'm looking at the bigger picture. However, I know that sometimes your first attempt, your second attempt, your third attempt is not going to stick. And I'm not going to be at every business warming party that you have, or be looked at as though I'm not supporting you, because every fleeting thought, transforms itself into a business. I have girlfriends that sell hair. I have girlfriends that sell makeup, Tupperware, all types of shit. Like, and that's all well and good. But I am not going to come to all of your jewelry paparazzi parties and things like that. Like, I'm just not going to do it. And it doesn't mean I don't wish you luck, but I also want to know how serious you are before you take my time to set up this business warming party.
Now, the thing didn't say that you going to all your homies' business party warming party. I mean, first of all, how many business warming parties are you really think they're going to be? It's like
I'm basing it on now. I'm telling you, I get at least like at least 3 requests a week to like a business page. I like a business page because that doesn't take any time. Like it doesn't actually invest anything. But then when you start sending out notifications like, oh, I'm gonna be live at this time and you should join a live party, like what? Like, no. You know, and then it's like, oh well, I would have done better, but nobody supported me. Like, that's not really fair to say either.
Well, I'm a little different. Me, even with investing into myself, I'm all for supporting people until the very end. Now, I will say my time, I can't get to each and every party, but I'll share your stuff. I'll, support comes in many, different levels. I'll share your stuff. I'll give your service, put your service out there to someone else, but I'm also different in this aspect. Is it a service that I can utilize? Because I'm going to have to utilize it before I tell someone else about it. And that's that simple. If you are a photographer, take pictures of me and my kids. Let me see what you're working with. Oh, you good. I got something to show other people. When it comes down to like people, I got a friend that does a cell phone repair and I sell cell phones. Well, we can help each other. If you got somebody you can't repair his phone, send them to me. I'll hook them up with a good discount. I'll get them a nice phone and vice versa. My friend want to repair. He don't want to buy a phone from me. I'm going to send them to you. Are you somebody that I can kind of work with or collaborate with, even if it's not on a daily basis? I'm not, let me put it. I'm not into supporting. I don't give a damn who it is, black, white, orange, yellow, green. I'm not into supporting something that is considered useless, if that makes sense. And I don't mean just useless to me. I mean useless in general. I had this one girl who was selling Avon.
How about you about to say I had this one girl who was selling ass?
I said Avon. Shut up, Blue. Your listening skills are not on.
Right, because now that he's not asexual no more, he want to hear completely.
He all over the place. So she was selling Avon. Do you know how many people sell Avon?
A lot.
That's why
I just can't rock that. You can go to the Avon.com website. Unless you're gonna give me a sweeter deal than what I can get on the website, why?
Yeah, or you can go to the flea market. I ain't trying to be funny.
Yeah, the flea market. Yeah, flea market is good. I mean, unless like you have a disability or something like that. No, it's a very niche connection. But yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I'm not coming to like a housewarming party. I'm not inviting everybody I know to my housewarming party.
I noticed.
I want to make sure that it's people that are really in my circle. Like, just because we're friends on Facebook doesn't mean I'm going to invite you to my house.
I'm like having a housewarming party. And I decided that too. I invited 14 people.
It should be very targeted, very specific. Like, no, I'm not about to have a businesswoman.
No men. It's a ladies' night / housewarming. So
I could be the DJ though. I'm one of the best DJs.
I love candles, so I told them to bring candles.
I'm the DJ of the year. I won DJ of the year 3 years in a row. I got you.
He just wants to see what's going on because I also have a bedroom, and that's again another thing. I have a friend who does bedroom candy now. So she sells that, which I think that's different. It's a little different than Avon because a lot of people in the area ain't selling it. Look, so
porn is a $1 billion industry. So I don't
think
dildos and got to do with porn.
Bedroom candy by Candy. Candy coated nice. You out the loop.
He don't even know. No support of the black woman I see. So no, but see, she sells bedroom candy, and bedroom candy is rare to find around here. So I'm definitely supporting her. And on top of that, I'm going to have 14 women there. That's the possibility of them buying stuff and supporting her.
Look, I say instead of having business warming parties, it should just be, hey, look, I have friends that are rappers too, like musicians. And I will say this, out of all of the business owners or people that are out here hustling, promoting, and grinding, any artists, it seems like the artists are having it the worst because people don't necessarily assign a monetary value to what it is that they're doing. Like, music makes my life better. Art makes my life better. If you provide some sort of artistic talent that people can enjoy, it seems like people feel like they somehow deserve to just do their services for a low price, and there was like a whole Reddit post that I was reading, and this actually is not pertaining to a black-owned business, but the gist of it was this man had the nerve to tell this woman who made quilts, really nice quilts, oh, I can't believe you're going to charge $400. I'll give you $150. And that's if I feel like it kind of shit. Like, it's like, what? And I don't know. At the end of the day, I just feel like if I have a homeboy or a homegirl that is a musician, I'm going to promote their events, even if I'm not necessarily going to be there. Now, that's if I enjoy your music. Now, I do know some people whose music I do not enjoy, and I do not promote it.
Well, let me tell you also, I notice a lot of things. Another thing Black people do, their prices are like Toys R Us prices, so they're extremely high. That's why they don't last. They're run down the same track as Toys R Us, out of business in a few years. But anyway, so yesterday I was tagged in a post on Facebook. It was this girl. Everybody knows I love the faux locks or whatever. And this girl, she does faux locks. She's actually from North Carolina, in a distance that I'm willing to drive. And she does these great, I think they're called voodoo faux locks or something like that. And most people think they look messy, but I like the way they look. They're straight faux locks with like some straight curly hair or whatever. So when the girl first made the post, she said $275 with hair included. That's it. For 30-inch hair, what she had in the picture, cool. I can dig that. $275, that's a lot of hair. It's a lot of time. I get it. So her post went viral.
Hold on. I just want to pause you right there, because I'm just going to say that any other service, any other vendor, especially one without melanin, we wouldn't question it. I'm just going to, and that's what pisses me off.
It gets worse. So $275 was a perfect price for me. She started going viral, and by the end of the viral thing, she had boosted her price up to $1,000 a head. Now,
somebody told her, let me interrupt you too. I got to interrupt a little bit too. But that makes sense though. When she went viral, she got heads from New York, LA, Miami, where they're used to paying those price points. That's not a North Carolina or South Carolina price point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but does she live in, like, is she driving?
No, she's from North Carolina.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, that would be justified if she's making consideration for, like, travel
for those
expenses.
People, not everybody. If she had to fly to New York, I get it. She had to fly to Miami, I get it. She had to fly to LA, I totally get it.
That might be a tax time hair prep, because honestly, we balling out of control.
But my point is, she's been providing this service locally for $300 for a while, with hair included.
Mm-hmm.
If she had to do it with people in New York and everywhere, you're not going to charge LaQuisha down the street $1,000. I'm sorry. That's not okay. You don't inflate your prices like that to break your people.
And melanin hair,
I'm going to tag y'all in the post, because she tripping.
You should have screenshot her original price and be like, "This is what you quoted. This is what it is, bitch."
Well, shout out.
And if you go to the edit of her post, you can see where she changed it: $275, $750, $800, $1,000.
Maybe, and what she very well may be trying to do is price people out, because maybe like she's, and I'm not like, that's no shade to her. She very well may be trying to price people out, because I've known entrepreneurs to give like exorbitant prices and be like, okay, let me just throw a number out there and see if they're really interested. And then if they're not, then be like, okay, well, then I don't want to be bothered, because it would have been hard getting my money out of you anyway. And that's a tactic.
And not only that, you may be so overwhelming because so many customers are coming at you. Let me just get what I could have got for 4 out of the 1, and I ain't got to do as much.
Yep. So that
which I get it.
I would still slide in her inbox anyway and be like, hey, I was definitely interested in coming to see you. But and I would just preface it with this, like, I'm proud of your glow up, but I was supporting you when you were at $275. Is there any way you can still honor that price? If she says no, then cool. Like, all right, well,
somebody else can do that same service for $275 though.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is, as Black people, we are at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to income in the United States anyway. We make less than everybody for the same jobs that everybody else does. Like, I'm not going to break my people for something. Now, again, the girls in New York, the girls in LA, the girls in Texas, the girls in Miami want this woman to come and take her time and her travel to do this hair. I get it. But them girls down the street, $1,000, come on now. Just because your post went viral, if anything, you're going to have 100 heads. I would say, if you're going to boost it, don't be ridiculous. The $275, $350, be real with the girls down the street. Them other girls in other places making you catch planes, absolutely charge them $1,000, because I'm pretty sure your plane ticket last minute to them is going to be a good $400. Absolutely tax them, because they could easily find somebody in that area. It's just that her locks were that good. But we already don't make a lot of money. And people aren't, if we took $1 a piece and put into a pot all black people, mixed blacks, us, whoever, Puerto Ricans, all blacks, put it into a pot, Haitians, Dominicans, we could probably restart or the foundation to rebuilding our whole Black Wall Street and find an area for us to all dwell together. But we're not even willing to do that. So you're telling me that you're going to tax the hell out of somebody else making bare minimum just like you, just so you can have a come up? We're making the same amount of money. Well, not all of us, but you know what I mean. Average, we're making the same amount of money. So, because it's not a lot of black millionaires. It's not a lot of black billionaires.
Well, I will say I was strategic and picking my price points. I'm not sure how you kind of decided where to slide your price points, ladies, but frankly, all of my customers have been black, and so. But honestly, I started my business to like help me get somewhere else professionally, and so I just wanted to monetize like my talent, and so I wanted to actually make it at a low enough price point where people could really get the benefit of my service, because I knew that it was going to be mostly black people using my service.
Yeah,
and,
same here.
Exactly.
Locally.
So I was like, I want to make sure that someone's getting really like a really good service and benefit out of this, but also enough to build my skill set to be like, okay, this is how many clients I was able to touch, how many documents I was able to work on, so I could put that on my resume. So I understand the struggles. I'm thinking like with all types of, all types of hats. The owner, the contributor, everything.
Yeah, my local people have been mostly black. I think we had 2 white customers, mostly black locally, and on eBay, I never know what color they are.
Right,
so
right,
they could
right.
be all over the place, and I've sold to about 150 on eBay.
Damn. Go ahead, girl.
I'm trying to move up in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And I still, no matter what, because in that type of customer service, you can't see the face of the people. I'm still going to provide you the same in customer service as I am my black neighbor, my mama, my whomever else. Mama got to buy 2. She showed her. You better support, woman. You don't get that discount.
That is
you might get it almost at cost. You're going to give me 10 extra dollars because I ordered it for you and shipping and everything else.
My time is worth something.
Exactly. So, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. I just, and then my dad, he supports me. He invested into my business. That's rare too. A lot of people don't have that luxury. So just as black people, I feel like we need to provide even better customer service than our Hispanic and Caucasian
we
neighbors.
need to do everything that we do in regular life and apply that to our business. When we're in school, we always have to excel there. When we're out socially, we have to be aware of our surroundings and behave a certain way. So we just have to like make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do. And then also, just side note, just make sure you're a good customer too. And again, like Mercedes, you worked in customer service. I work and have worked in customer service. And look, you got to be a good customer. So, understand sometimes because you have insight into what it's like to be in the black person's skin, you may not know what it's like to be the business owner in a business owner's black skin, but you know what it's like to be in black skin, and you know what the challenges are that we face every day. And if you're not helping, you're hurting. So, I definitely encourage you and anyone like Mercedes to keep providing constructive feedback, whether your people want to be receptive to it or not. As long as you're kind with it, then you can always say, well, I tried.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's what I was saying. Like, we excel in everything else as black people. School, college, sports, everything else we're good at. Except customer service sometimes. When it comes down to we'll even customer service for other companies. Thank you for calling Verizon Wireless. I'm amazing. Well, I'm gonna apply that same concept to my people, but everybody else don't do that. So we got to make sure that we are consistent when it comes down to etiquette and professionalism at all times. And this is another thing that pisses me off too about other black people. When you are, whether it be proper, whatever they want to call it, you acting white. No, I'm providing excellence in customer service to you. And if I sound white to you, I'm sorry, but I didn't think being proper was considered being white.
I will say a lot of my friends, I don't know about your circle, but I haven't heard anybody really throw that phrase out there in quite some time. So I'd like to think that we are migrating away from that, that connection of professionalism or
Man,
sounding white. I think we really are doing a good job of getting away from that. I've noticed it over the years.
I agree.
I think we really are getting away
But
from
I was in the Compton swap meet today, and I was just looking around for some new, I'm working on a new album, and I was looking at some music stuff, and I was just, walking around, and this lady in the background, I'm like, what the fuck is that, a crackhead or something? What the fuck is going on in here? She's really disturbing my groove I'm in, trying to figure out what musical equipment I'm going to get for this album, because I want this to be a very stellar album. I watched Rapture the other day, and I saw the Rhapsody video clip, and I was just really enamored with Knife. I came up with Knife, so to see that what he's doing with her and how long it took to develop her, it almost gave me inspiration to get back in it and do something again. My last studio album was in 2002 or 2003. The last person I put out as a producer songwriter was like 2010, 11, and they won awards and everything, and then everything fizzled out and died out. Have you ever noticed that when you have a female artist, their boyfriend purposely tries to fuck them up by getting them pregnant so they fall off the game? I don't know. Maybe that's just the circle I fucks with. I don't know.
Well, I mean, depending on your perception, that might be Cardi B. But sir, back to the ratchet lady.
Oh, so, and then all of a sudden I found out that she's actually a customer service person at the swap meet. Can I help you with something, baby? I was like, nah. And I didn't even want to buy anything anymore. I was good. I was like, I'll come back to the swap meet on Saturday or Sunday or something. I do need to get a new vocoder, but I can wait on that. You know what I'm saying? To me, I'm more apt to deal with the professional, or as some would say, white, than anything close to ghetto. I don't want to touch ghetto at this stage of my life. Now, when I was younger, when I was wilding, when I was shooting people in their head and laughing about it, I'm crazy, I'm a joker. That was fine and dandy. But at this age, at this point in my career, I don't got to tolerate that. And I'll pay a little bit more to get that.
Fair. What's your worth? What's your worth, customers? What's your worth, business owners? That's all you can do. Get paid what you're worth.
Agreed.
And on that note, we out.
All right, and that concludes another episode. No. We're not going to get off that easy. I'm tripping. Let's give a shout out to maybe 2 or 3 of our favorite Black-owned businesses. Just let them know that we appreciate you and keep doing what you're doing.
Fair.
My one that I use again is my soap lady. Her name is Miss Shonda Adams. She's at the flea market. Hopefully she'll come up and have her own store one day. So Miss Shonda Adams, shout out to you. When the whole Dove thing happened and I made my soap orders for my kids and their sensitive skin and eczema. Unfortunately, I don't think her business has like a name per se. I just call her the soap lady and her name, Shonda Adams. But I appreciate her. There are a couple other Black-owned businesses around Greenville that are just amazing, whether they're photographers, videographers, that I deal with as far as this whole industry that, I'm in, musicians and everything else. Shout out to all of them. It's pretty much it. So the ones that I have done business with that I'm happy with, I love each and every one of them, and I'll never stop doing business with them. I just know, how to handle other businesses. But the good ones, I love all y'all. Keep taking my money.
Yo, shout out to Ethiopia's natural hair care studio. She keeps my hair looking good every week. It's a mess right now, but she's done my locks for years. And she's actually my hairdresser and my friend. So shout out to Ethiopia. Shout out to Chuck Charlie Hondo. I mentioned him earlier. He's a videographer, one of my former coworkers at Time Warner Cable way back in the day. But he is now a videographer, does amazing work. You should definitely look up his page. And then a couple girlfriends that are photographers, Yune, also known as Fahrenheit Photography, and that's Fahrenheit PH, ARENHEIT, photography, Jesus Christ. And Dark Red Photography. Dark Red is Alani. She's one of my sorors, and she's done my birthday party. I look forward to having her do my graduation photos. I've worked with her plenty of times and referred her just as many, if actually way more. Yeah, shout out to everybody crushing it. Like I'm drawing a blank now, so charge it to my mind, not my heart, for anybody I forgot to mention.
All the positive Black-owned businesses that's doing it the right way. I love them all.
Shout out to MrBlue.net, who does videography and photography, award-winning photographer, award-winning videographer, working exclusively with UNC's 2 Beat HIV project, which was won an international videographer award for that project, as we showed the coursework that was needed and necessary, the community involvement necessary in order to find a crowdsourced cure for HIV. So it was a very prominent figure in that. Saying music producer, retired, but getting back into it. Look for the new album coming out. MrBlue.net, 51% owner of a major regional magazine, Geechee One Magazine. If you got something you want to promote, make sure you buy an ad. Make sure you promote that magazine. We're doing films. Mercedes is my top star in my film series.
And up and coming magazine on the horizon, Urban Magazine. So we got to work on that. Get that out there as part of the Geechee One family. So. But
then not only that, Exotique here in Durham, North Carolina is an African wear store which gets wares from all over the continent of Africa. I go there mainly for paintings. I love African paintings, and I go there for scents. I love rub-on scents and stuff like that. And a little bit of thank you. A little gear here and there, but mainly the paintings, maybe the scents. BU Cafe, which is an eclectic, urban, bougie environment with a jazz feel for it and okay food. I don't really go there.
Yeah. The drinks are amazing, though. The drinks are amazing. The entertainment, it's always drinks in the show. You can't fuck that up. I love it.
Right. When I start writing again for my magazine, as I haven't really written for my own magazine in a while, I use Odie's service of grammatically correct, because you can look over the last 10 years. Yeah, you can find some significant errors in my writing, but hey, you got the gist of the story. You know what I'm saying? And that concludes this episode of He Said, She Said, under the umbrella of the Urban Breakdown. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the Urban Breakdown podcast, available on all streaming podcast apps, all of them. That's 360 Degrees, He Said, She Said, Politics, Black Man's Perspective. On the solo tip, we got Odie's Obi-Wan Kenobi Speaks, which is a media podcast. You have the eclectic perspectives of Mr. Blue on the solo tip, which is an empowerment and educational podcast full of shorts, like 5-minute podcasts, which tells you what you need to know for the day or what you need to know as it impacts your life. Eventually, I have so many podcasts, you'll look at it and you'll be like, oh, I'm going through this today. Let's see what Mr. Blue has anything to say about this. And boom, you're going to stream down. You're going to be like, oh, he talked about that on that day. And boom, the lesson you learn on that particular podcast blurb is going to give you what you need for you to succeed. And that's how it is. That's what's going to be. 843-919, Compton for life, Bull City.